Welcome to this video where we'll discuss racing games in 2025. It's been a busy year for news and racing games. There are tons of announcements going in all directions. This includes new game announcements, downloadable content, major updates, and sometimes delays or cancellations. In today's video, to try to get a clearer picture of what's really coming up for racing games, I'm offering you a summary of everything to expect for the end of 2025 and the beginning of 2026. When it comes to racing games, we're going to talk about a bunch of games, and it's going to be a sort of video update on their status to explain exactly where things stand. We'll start with Gran Turismo 7, which has actually been out since 2022, but is planning a major update for the end of this year. Spec 3 is planned for December 2025 without a set date, but it will include new content, 2 new tracks, Yas Marina and Gilles Villeneuve, 8 new cars, including the Ferrari, 296 Gran Turismo, 3 the Nissan Skyline R34 Mines, and the Mitsubishi FTOR version. A new telemetry system will also be added to the game, allowing you to record your driving data so you can analyze it later and try to correct your driving mistakes. For example, the maximum collector level will be raised, and the weekly challenge system will be reworked. Even if this update might be a little less significant than Spec 2, it's still the most impressive update in terms of content that the game will have in 2025. Just days earlier, on November 25, 2025 Project Motor Racing launches on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. Developed by Straight 4 Studios and published by Giant Software, it's a racing simulation. The game includes over 70 licensed cars across 10 racing classes. You can use them on 28 official tracks. Competitive multiplayer modes are included, but the focus remains on the single-player career, offering extensive customization, experience, sponsorship, and team management features. A new next-generation physics engine that aims to be one of the most realistic on the market. It looks beautiful. It looks realistic. It really does. Highly original content, mainly focused on 90s and 2000s racing categories. And on top of that, it's compatible with modding, meaning players will be able to directly create or import content, like AstroCard, which offers great longevity. By the way, since we're talking about AstroCard, let's talk about it now. AstroCard. Evo hasn't managed, unsurprisingly, to stick to the roadmap it set for itself since the beginning of early access. The game's development is delayed by several months. The game has just received its Update 03, which adds multiplayer and a few cars. Update 04 will be unveiled at Sim Racing Expo. We know that among the new content that will be added by this update, we can expect the Ferrari F40 competition, as well as the addition of the Nürburgring circuit. The Nordschleife was delayed a lot, including the arrival of the open world, which is one of the big things that are highly anticipated. For this AstroCard Evo, we hoped early access would let us experience the open world in summer 2025. It's now clear this won't happen before early 2026. Forza Horizon 6 is scheduled for release that year. There is very little information about the game. We simply know that it will take place in Japan and that it will be released on PC and Xbox Series. We know that it will also be released on PlayStation 5, but that version of the game will only arrive sometime after the initial release. On PC and Xbox, we don't have much more info about this game. However, this is easily one of the games I'm most excited for, and I'm closely following its news. So if you want to know everything about the news, Forza Horizon, about what's going to be announced as it happens, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way, you'll get news right away. There's not much else to say about the game except it's coming in 2026. Recreation is set to release on October 28, 2025 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. We're looking at a game aiming to revive Burnout, promising a fun, arcade-style experience, with a focus on crashes and the use of nitro. The game features a 400km open world that's fully explorable and customizable. You can add all kinds of ramps, decorative objects, roads, basically anything you want to make the map you desire. You can create game modes, objectives, and racing styles, then share them with the community. Ultimately, it's like a giant sandbox. Obviously, it will be multiplayer, but there will also be a solo career mode, about which we got some information a few days ago. We know that the progression will be a bit like Burnout Paradise, with a license system and billboards plus destructible gates to unlock rewards. Exploring the map and winning solo events unlocks new cars and creation or map building items. There will be both asynchronous and synchronous multiplayer, allowing comparisons of best times, drifts, longest runs, and similar stats. All of this comes with one of the most advanced car destruction engines on the market today, likely similar to Wreckfest's damage. Also, Wreckfest 2 isn't dead. There are still updates, but to be honest, they're pretty infrequent. We've only had 3 since the game was released. The third one adds vehicles like the Holmesmobile and Fiat 500 copies plus new tracks. So it's a game that progresses pretty slowly. On the other hand, with each update, it's content that was requested by players during the last update that's added to the game. That's a real credit to the developers. They genuinely listen to the community. However, it's true that the game is progressing very slowly, which means that for now, most players haven't made the switch yet. From Wreckfest 1 to 2 in a whole new style. Rainsport, already on PC, will launch on consoles November 13, 2025. This racing simulation game aims to be an alternative to iRacing, Assetto Corsa Competizione, and R-Factor 2. It features licensed cars and tracks, supports mods, and already has competitive multiplayer. This big project struggled with funding balance, but that's now fixed with a new system of packs and in-game content purchases. It's a game that, I'll tell you right away, isn't currently considered the best in its category, but it's a game that still gets regular updates, and the community is actually listened to quite a bit. So there's a good chance that in the next updates, things will get a bit better, and that will finally reach a level of realism and a level of enjoyment similar to what you find with its competitors. Japanese Driftmaster, which we played live a few months ago, has made good progress. It received several updates that added new cars, such as the Nissan GTR and the Honda NSX. And this game also received an update some time ago, which adds new side missions that let you learn more about the lore of certain characters. In a few weeks, in November 2025, the game will get its first non-Japanese cars. So far, all cars have been Japanese. A downloadable content called Made in United States of America will feature 6 American cars, including Mustangs, Chargers, and Challengers, and new lore elements about certain characters that we've had the chance to see in the main story. I'll add a last-minute update that came in while I was editing this video. The developers of Japanese Driftmaster have just confirmed that the console versions, so PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series, are coming, and that's in the first quarter of 2026. So, it's coming soon. Tokyo Extreme Racer has been released in version 1.0, and it's a real gem. If you like racing games that take place at night on the highway, with tuned cars, it's absolutely perfect. Somewhat repetitive, but for its target audience, this game is a true gem. It will keep receiving updates, including its first non-Japanese cars. However, there may be some bad news. When it reached version 1.0, the price increased to $45.99 from $25 just weeks before. It's a unique game in its genre, and for $45 worth it. Now, let's briefly discuss a competitor. Night Runners is a game that was talked about a lot around 2023-2024. This game was meant to be a revival of Tokyo Extreme Racer, which hadn't had a new title added to its franchise in many years. Even though we don't hear much about it anymore, Night Runners is still making progress. There was a demo that came out several months ago, which is pretty cool. Since then, there hasn't been much news about the project, except for updates shared with his Patreon members. Simply put, no new playable version of the game has come out since that demo. On the other hand, the developers of the game, well, the developer, since it's a tiny studio made up of just one person, regularly post updates about the game's development, with a whole bunch of new cars that have been modeled, new parts of the map, new customizations, new car upgrade systems, as well as a rework of the physics. So it's a project that's moving forward, but moving forward in the shadows. Let's hope. In any case, personally, that's what I hope, that this game doesn't sink. That is, the developers aren't always trying to add more things and constantly delay the game's release. As long as those things aren't ready, because we're going to get into a bit of a vicious cycle where, in the end, not much new comes out. So it's a work in progress, but honestly, there's not much more to show you. There aren't really any new images. It's similar for To Get Attack, a game we discussed often in 2023, because the graphics were incredibly realistic and because it's a game that's really focused on To Get. We also hadn't heard much about the game lately. It's certainly due to the fact that the main developer had quite a few health problems, if we believe what's written on his various social media accounts. But the game's development has progressed well. A new teaser was released on the official channel. It shows some new footage of the race car garage at night, and gives some new information about the game's lore. It's still in progress, and there's no playable version yet. Some YouTubers, such as Black Panta, only had access to a very limited demo. It's similar for Apex Point, a game widely discussed in 2022-2023. Though still in development, it's less talked about now, because the developers chose to change the entire game engine, including the graphics engine, and that means redoing a whole bunch of systems that were made for the old engine. So, That's also a work in progress. There's a playable version of the game, though it hasn't been updated in a while. Still, the project remains on track. The developers provide regular updates, with the most recent from August 2025. In a few days, it will also be the new season of Test Drive Solar Crown. For those who haven't really kept up, Seasons 3 and 4 have been released. It added many new features like a casino, and made several improvements. Season 5 will follow a similar approach, fixing disliked aspects and introducing new features. There will be, in particular, an improvement in graphics, both on PC and console, in terms of both quality and optimization, with new cars, like the P70 for example, but also a rework of the game's economy. And finally, the ability to sell these cars in events will generate more money than before. Additionally, an advanced taxi mission mode will be added to the game, allowing us to interact and talk with customers. There will be multiple difficulties and settings to handle. Sometimes we need to dress up or down, drive different cars, and adjust our driving to the passenger's mood. Quite a few new things are coming for this Season 5, even though for now, it doesn't have an official release date. It's pretty imminent. It's really going to happen just a few days after this video comes out. Lastly, the Crew Motor Fest will receive a major update with Season 8's release. It's set to be revealed on October 16, 2025 in the evening. I'm going to stream Rivi's conference to share this discovery with you. We're not sure what to expect. We do know, though, that normally we should get a new piece of the map. Several new cars, possible new customization systems and playlists, plus maybe some paid DLCs. So, for now, it's still a little unclear, but it will become clearer soon. And it should still be a big update and a major new thing that will take hours to complete. So, I think with this video, we've covered all the main big projects that are in development or have been released. There will be updates and DLCs for them. Obviously, it's quite possible that I forgot some or didn't mention certain games that I'm not aware of. On Steam, for example, new racing games are released almost daily, and we hear about many of them. Still, I think that if you're a fan of racing games, you should have quite a lot of information about the games that will interest you the most. After a few weeks break, you may want to revisit them in the coming months. In any case, feel free to use the comments section to add to this video. If you want to discuss other projects or updates, or ongoing projects, leave a like on this video to boost its ranking. And be sure to follow me on Twitch for upcoming live streams. There will be one very soon, starting on October 16, 2025. Follow me and use your Prime to support the channel. It means a lot. See you tomorrow for a new video. Ciao.